Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the R.AGE Food Fight final. And I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Siew. I'm a doctor, I'm a singer, I'm a vocal coach, and I'm a food blogger. And today, most importantly, I'm here as food fighter. Not to be confused with the band Foo Fighter, by the way, great band. But anyway, today you are going to see 5 very, very different cooks from very, very different backgrounds. And each of them will bring different things to the table. And you have already seen Nuril, who is a chef who is able to retain traditional flavors and bringing modern takes to the dish. And then I'm not going to spoil the surprises, and you're going to find out about the rest of the contestants later on. But let's talk about myself. Today, I'm going to tell you about why I like to cook. My mom, right, she's a pretty good cook, but my grandmother, she's like crazy awesome. She makes everything from scratch, and she makes food for large quantity, and she's been doing this for so many years, for so many generations. And I've always admired how generous she is, giving away her food, feeding us, feeding the grandchildren. And I think that is the essence of cooking, to be able to share good food with people. So I want to be able to find the best ingredients, make the best dish, and it's going to make you say, oh my God, that's like the best ever. I mean, of course, everything's not going to be the best ever, but it's always nice to strive for excellence, right? So that brings me to the dish that I'm making today for you. So I'm going to draw from my journey of food and make something that is a little bit fusion. You see, I've always regarded French cuisine as one of the hardest to master and one of the finest. And I think pastry making has that very special something which is very therapeutic. I like doing pastry, I like doing bread. And I think that is something that is really stress relieving for me. So that's why today I chose to do this in the kitchen, because I know that I can focus myself and I just do this and I will make myself relax. Although, not really doing it right now, I'm just silently screaming inside, I'm still nervous. But anyway, I think I'm just going to play and then I'll talk about my dish as I go. So the dish name today is very, very long. Garlic prawn tart with olive pate, pineapple and tomato chutney, and it's topped with the coriander mayonnaise. So 3 of the components of this dish today involves palm oil. I will talk about it a bit later, but let's review the components of my dish. So first, prawns. Ideally, we should have a hot assistant right here doing this for me. But anyway, let's try and look glamorous. Okay. The inspirations of this dish is basically my journey in food. So pastry and olive pate, which is also a bit French. And then I have the pineapple chutney, which is drawing local flavors because it's curry spices and it's very tropical. And I thought that that goes really well with prawns. And the prawns is just simply sauteed in garlic and palm oil. So putting all that together, I have the sauce, which is the coriander mayonnaise made with palm oil to tie everything together. So let's plate. I believe that everything that is put inside our body, food-wise of course, has to be good for us. So everything has to be nutritious. That's why I always want to feed the best thing to people to, do good to your body. So first is the pastry. The pastry, I've used ground almonds, which is roasted briefly in the oven, and then of course it's put together as per normal pastry with flour, butter, salt, sugar to flavor. And then, well, it's a bit more complicated than that, but it's put together and then baked. as professional chefs will tell you that. So there, it's a pastry. And then the next thing I'm going to do is basically putting a smear of olive pate so that the chutney doesn't soak through the pastry. So it's actually not only for flavor, but it's also for practical purposes. Okay, I was supposed to use the build and trying not to shake when I'm doing this. So shaky hand is not so good for building pastry, I tell you what. Okay. So a little smear of the pate. Basically, it's just olive blended with some thyme leaf and seasoned with salt and pepper. Olive is also very good for you. It's high in antioxidants, and also it has a lot of minerals. I can't recite them right now, but good for you. And it gives you an earthy flavor to go with this dish. Okay, trying very hard to make it very tidy. Anyway, doesn't look very good now because it's all black, but the next layer I'm going to do is the pineapple and tomato chutney. Change the spoon. Okay. Bit of concentration when I do this. So, of course, to talk about the nutritions again, pineapple, good for you, vitamin C's, antioxidant once again. So basically, after you eat this dish, you're going to be nice and healthy and good for your skin, everything. That's hard selling right now. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is to plate the prawns. I'm just going to use my hand, I washed them. Just making sure, don't freak out. So just pick nice 2 succulent prawns together. Okay. It's unintentionally off-center, but okay, artsy. And then what I'm going to do is actually garnish around the plate. And now it's hard to do this with shaky hands, but I'm still going to try. So I just want to talk a little bit about palm oil. Before this, I don't really have a lot of experience cooking with palm oil, but because of this competition, I experimented with different dishes, and I find that it's versatile enough to work with different things in terms of sauces, because it has a neutral flavor profile. So that's why I've incorporated it into my mayonnaise. And the other 2 components, I have sauteed the prawns in high heat, so just quickly seal in the juices and everything. So that's another thing that palm oil is good for, high heat cooking. And of course, like I said, I'm always into nutrition and things like that. So the fact that it has high antioxidants and vitamin A and E is a very huge bonus for me. And well, it's good for you to find out as well. So, nearly finished, just going to do some finishing touches. Here's a little bit of pastry that I have crumbled. Just dot around the plate. Okay. Let's give it a little bit of color with a bit more olive, pate. And finally, we have a bit of coriander to top the prawns. Now I gotta pick a nice one. And there you have it. Here's my garlic prawn tart with abbreviated name, so that's all that jazz. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're going to experience a flavor explosions and enjoy your day. Thank you so much.
So Kelly, what made you decide to come up with this dish?
Actually, I want to combine a few different elements in this dish, something that I'm good at. I like to do pastry, but at the same time, I also want to infuse a little bit of Malaysia and tropical flavors into my dish, so I don't want it to be strictly French. And I thought that the combination of the earthy olive and the pineapple chutney, which is sweet and tangy at the same time, and then goes with the briny prawns, works well for me, and I hope that it worked well for you too.
I think when I noticed your presentation, I think you were trying to promote a healthy option. I think, but somehow or other, I think that would be a better point of entry when you were presenting your dish, and it would be nice to know more about if you really want to go on those lines, then that should be more emphasized.
Yep.
Yeah. More than explaining what you think that was actually coming to this point.
Sure.
Because it's very hard to catch, where was the entertainment aspect of it.
Sure. Jeff?
Yep. Yes. Maybe a bit more work in your preparation.
Sure.
I know it's a starters. It's après. I think olive and fruits going after palate with the spice, with the fruits. You have tapenade, give a bit bitterness, balance quite well. Après, maybe the way with the biscuit, the biscuit, you could maybe build a bit differently this one.
Okay.
Et maybe the shrimps aussi go for. Could be maybe you see, maybe why not combine with your, if you do mayonnaise, combine with your mayonnaise to do like un petit peu like, if I can say like cocktail sauce, can be,
Okay.
this can be one way, for example, as with the palm oil. Voilà. For my comment, but I like fruits and combination of fruits and tapenade. That is nice.
I like the creativity aspect and that you experiment with it, with the different ingredients and a lot of different textures and taste to it. But at the same time, maybe there was a little bit too much for me. So it feels like it's a tapas, but it's something that maybe tastes a little bit too strong from multiple aspects for me. That's my thought.